What's up guys, Frugal BC. Today I want to talk about something a little different for me. I'm going to do a review of Helium Mobile. Now this is just from my perspective of getting set up. We got the SIM card, physical SIM card coming, so I'm going to talk to you about some of my frustrations signing up with this service and kind of give that first perspective. And then once we get the phone up and running, which should happen in about a week, I'll give you that side of it. But I already got so much to say on this first end of it. I think people need to be aware of this. Now, the main thing is this is a crypto-based mobile service, phone service, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I joined it. I think it's very, very interesting. I think it has a lot of promise, but also some pitfalls early on make me a little bit nervous. So we'll get right into that. If you guys find that you like this throughout the video, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. As I always say, you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. It works just fine that way too. And since this is a non-Algorand video, and a lot of my content is around Algorand, just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Non-Fungible Domains, for getting those nice .algo addresses, a lot easier than the letters and numbers. And shout out to Fractal Monsters, a play to earn game on the Algorand blockchain you can play for free. Check out both of those in the description below. But let's get to Helium. So this is Helium. This is the main plan. They got a phone plan, but if you can go, this is kind of what they have here. This is the Helium plan. Big telco has been weighing us down. Helium Mobile is founded on the idea that connectivity should not be, or should be, affordable, accessible for all, and benefit for the people. That's not how legacy carriers operate. So they kind of walk you through this slide, and we'll get to that in a second, but I want to talk about why I was interested in this. First off, it's $20 a month for unlimited talk and text. That is a pretty good deal. And if that sounds like shockingly good, there's actually a number of carriers that operate this way that aren't crypto. For example, Mint Mobile is a really famous one with Ryan Reynolds. I think he actually owns part of the company. I've been using one called Ting, which is winding down. I'll kind of talk about that a little bit later. And it also gives 30 gigs of data. Technically it's unlimited, but they throttle you after 30 gigs. So it's not unlimited exactly, but that's far more than I've been used to having with my other service. And one reason I was interested too is because I actually have a similar service that I was using. It was called Ting, and it was kind of more of like pay what you use. So if you were a heavy user, it might not have paid off for you, but I'm a pretty light cell user. I don't call a lot of people. I mostly use the internet. I'm always on Wi-Fi. So I pay for message. I don't message. I mostly message over Facebook Messenger. So I don't use the data, the text messaging that much. So for me, it worked, but they're winding it down. You can't sign up. If you go to their website, it's nothing but internet service now. They don't do cell phones anymore. So it's kind of grandfathered in and actually stopped working. Like all the data stuff basically just totally turned off. You can't use data on it anymore at all. So if you're driving around and you want to use maps, you're hosed. So I definitely had to switch, which was one of the reasons I looked at this. Now, another feature, and I would have been interested in it without this, but this made it even cooler. There's an option where you can earn credit, these little tokens, I guess, to help pay for your phone bill. So some people are saying like they've actually never had a phone bill because they turned on this mapping feature. So you basically in the app, we'll get to that later. You turn on this toggle and it turns on a map and you're mapping for them. You're helping them map out the network. And by doing that, they give you credit towards your bill. I wouldn't get this service assuming that, it's nice in the beginning, but probably at some point they'll phase that out because they just won't need it anymore. So I wouldn't count on that, like, oh, I'm just going to get a free phone for life. Well, it's probably not going to work that way, but if you can get it, I mean, $20 a month is really cheap already. I think it's a great deal for a service if it works, and we'll get to that. Also, it's recommended by YouTuber Caleb Hammer. Now, he's, if you guys aren't familiar with him, he has a pretty big personal finance YouTube channel where he does finance audits for people, and he's pretty harsh. He gives kind of people the hard truth of their situation. It's a really entertaining show and also very educational, I think, if you don't know a lot about personal finance. If you do, it's more entertainment. Anyway, he recommends it, and it's actually kind of surprising because there is a crypto element to this. Now, for those that aren't familiar with Helium, before they were actually building out the network, so you could buy one of these machines that would put out the 5G network, and then you could mine Helium, the token, which, is worth whatever it's worth, right? And then you could go sell it and take that money and do whatever you want with it. So they've been doing that for a while, and now the network is built out enough that this appears to be what they're doing. So, and there are some in my area, I've seen it. I actually thought about getting into it. I never ended up doing it. The hardware is kind of an investment, so you have to be sure if you're gonna buy it, you better be doing it. Okay, so that's the promise, right? And it sounds pretty good. excuse me, what was the sign up process like? So my initial impressions of the sign up process, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So yeah, you're going through, they kind of give you some basics, 20 bucks a month. I guess they did tell you a little bit more than, yeah, 20 bucks a month, unlimited talks, text. They say unlimited data, but it's not, they do throttle you. So I after 30 is what I've seen. So, but it's kind of a hybrid of coverage. So they're on the T-Mobile network and this 5G network that they've been building out through the Helium network. That all sounds pretty good. I'm surprised because I swear my thing looked different. Like you couldn't just learn more about the phone plan. But anyway, and then you hit buy a phone plan, and that's pretty straightforward. Now my problem with this is once you sign up, they kind of leave you to your own. Now a little quick start guide pops up. But I assumed, and they don't really explain this to you how it works. There's two options. There's a physical SIM card and an eSIM card. I didn't see an option pop up to say, hey, do you want to get the eSIM or the card? So I just assumed that one would be sent to me. So I X'd out of the quick start guide thinking, well, I'll access that when I actually get the SIM card. I learned later, only by downloading the app, which they don't really explain to you, that's actually really, really crucial. You have to download the app. I didn't see that until I read some tutorials or watched some tutorials. So it's really the UX here is pretty bad. The setup process, it should just take you to the next thing. Say, okay, I signed up. Here's what happens next. Don't make it a little pop-up window. Just make it the main thing. That's just good UI design. Like start walking me through it. Okay, so I found that very frustrating. So I actually had a couple days where I didn't do anything with it because I just assumed that a SIM card would be in the mail. Then I realized they show you the app, but they don't say, okay, this is the next step. You have to download this app. So I downloaded the app finally after I played around with it a little more. And we can get into how that worked. But yeah, so the next thing, talking about the setup process. So like I said, they don't really explain it to you, but the next step is to download the app, whether you're going to use eSIM or the SIM card. And at this point, I'm going to tell you, just get the SIM card. Wait, don't do anything with it. Just order the SIM card and then wait for that to come. Don't do anything with porting and stuff. Because now I basically am without a phone for a few days because the eSIM didn't work, and we're going to explain why. So, and again, when you download the app, there's really no walkthrough process, and there absolutely should be a walkthrough process on this. Instead, you're just kind of taken to your account page and you're kind of left to figure it out on your own. So, okay, so it gives you the choice between eSIM and physical. Supposedly, it's supposed to check if it's compatible, but I found out later my iPhone 8 is actually not compatible. The compatibility starts with the higher level, I think iPhone 11 and up. And I found a YouTuber that had this information for Android as well as iPhone, just the different models, but it's higher level models, generally kind of 2022 and up. So if you have an older iPhone, you really want to get the physical card. I would recommend just doing that anyway. Anyway, I signed up. I ported my number from Ting, which actually I thought worked pretty easily. Most carriers, they have an option in their account section where you can port out. They'll give you the account number and the transfer PIN, and that's what you'll need to enter into the app for the eSIM. Like I said, at no point in this process did it tell me that my iPhone was incompatible with the eSIM. Now, this is what's interesting, and I think this is why this happened. Once the number successfully ported, which it took about 12 hours, I did it on a Friday night, and by Saturday morning it was live. It says get started. It'll say, okay, let's get started setting up your eSIM, and you hit next. It just takes you to the main app screen, and then there's nothing. That's it. So I started doing a little digging around, and I found an official YouTube account for Helium that had a walkthrough of the process. So I thought, okay, for eSIM. So I thought, okay, great. And they were basically showing the phone and the app. They weren't showing any of the website, but they said, go to the website, go to the setup tab and your QR code. Well, there's no setup tab. There's no QR code anywhere. And it didn't appear, there was no option in my phone to do that either. So basically those instructions were completely null and void. What I ended up doing is I ended up contacting customer service. I went through their crappy bot system that was absolutely no help, which I assume it won't be for anything that isn't like super basic information you could probably look up anyway. And ended up talking to a real person. They basically took my address and said, okay, we're gonna send you a SIM card. And that's the end of it. So I have 5 days to wait to get my SIM card and see if this works. So now I'm out without a phone, which, you know, would have been great if I had known, if they had just said like a one simple pop-up in the very beginning that said, do you want to do eSIM or do you want to do a regular SIM card? And here's the models that it works with for eSIM if you want to do that. Otherwise, we'll send you the card. That would have been really, really helpful. And I frankly would have internet. I would have cell phone service right now. So I'm not going to have cell phone service for, however long it takes, 5 to 7 days, they say, to get the SIM card. And that's fine. I can work around it. But I hope no one tries to call me. If someone from work tries to call me, I could be in trouble, I guess. But so yeah, overall impressions, I see a lot of red flags and I'm not that impressed with how it's worked so far. I hope it gets a lot better. I really do. What I'm really hoping, and I had some red flags just based on the sign up process to begin with. I didn't like that they just sort of funneled. It didn't feel like they gave you enough information. I did notice on one of my other computers, the website looks different. So I don't know if I got a different web version of the website that's not as helpful, but what I'm hoping is that this is just a blip and that going forward, once I get everything set up, it'll be fine. I've had that before where things are really a pain in the butt to sign up, but once you got everything straightened away, it's fine, it's working. But I have to say so far, like they definitely have a ton of UI improvements to do here. They got to fix that and they got to fix it prompt. It didn't seem like they really tested it out with real humans. So they've got I've read that they got like 30,000 customers now. So apparently there's a lot of people using this. I don't know how, because it seems pretty difficult, much more difficult to sign up with than it should be, but I guess that's how it goes sometimes. So anyway, we're going to get that SIM card. We're going to try it out. I'm going to give you my impressions once it's live and running. I'll do some tests and see how it works, and we'll do another review. But this is my review of just the sign up process, and I'll tell you, it needs a ton of work. This really needs to be improved because you need people to, it just should walk you through every step of the way. It should be really, really simple for people. And I'm fairly crypto friendly. For people who are not crypto friendly and not used to these complications, it's going to drive them nuts. So that's my review so far. I've used Helium. Let me know what your experience has been in the comments below, or if you find this interesting, let me know about that as well. I mean, like I said, $20 a month phone bill is not bad. And I've used these kind of services before and they work pretty well. Here's hoping they've fixed things, and hopefully the next round is much, much better. But thanks for watching. I hope you're all doing well out there. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, you can press it gently right now. And otherwise, I will see you in the future.